Hello, Angela Jackson, and welcome to Holding the Space. How are you this evening?
I'm really well, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show this evening. And we met at the Outwith Festival. It would be a couple of months ago now, wouldn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and I was fortunate enough to be attending a performance workshop with yourself.
Uh-huh.
Now, you're a lady of many talents. You're a writer, you're a creative, you're a singer. Now, I believe you started writing under quite unusual circumstances. Would you like to tell us about that?
Oh, yeah. So, well, I was a psychology lecturer and had no real plans to write. I used to write at school and I loved it. But I sort of left that behind, really, and I think sometimes we do that. We leave our creative self behind when we go into the workplace, and we end up just caught in the world of work, and we forget that we can do things like write or paint, or and life gets in the way.
So almost rediscovering the inner child, if you like.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. So I had a day off. It wasn't a holiday. I went for a mammogram. I found a lump in my breast, and everything was fine. But as I sat there waiting for the result in the waiting room, I just thought all our lives have changed as a result of being here today. And you know, just looking around and looking at the other women's faces, and you know, we were all scared. I suppose we were all doing that thing of, you know, if I get the right answer, I'll do this and I'll do that, and you know, that sort of bargaining mindset that you get when you're facing something like that. As I said, everything was fine. But I had the whole day off, so I went home and I started to write The Emergence of Judy Taylor that day.
Wow. So
I started to write it as a film, actually, because it was just a very profound moment, and I don't know what made me go home and start writing. I suppose it was that thing of, you know, of having a second chance, really. So I started to write it as a film, realised I didn't really know what a film script looked like, but, you know, I was surrounded by shelves and shelves of books, and so I changed the format to a novel, and that's how it came about, really. So while I was teaching full time, I would come home, do my marking, and then I'd write The Emergence of Judy Taylor between sort of midnight and 2 or 3 nights a week.
Wow.
So yeah, that's how the first one came about.
Wow. So a fair amount of dedication from yourself, and very much committing to that vision.
You know, I was really fortunate to be surrounded by people who thought I could do it and were very encouraging, and I think that's really important. I think writing can be quite a lonely business, and you know, and it's very easy just to kind of leave the file on your hard drive and not touch it after a while, especially if, you know, you're busy with family and work and other stuff gets in the way. But because I told people kept reminding me and saying, how are you getting on with the book? And so I suppose really that's why I finished it, because I'd said it out loud, and so yeah, the reminders. My husband was really supportive, and he'd say, you know, are you going to write tonight? And you know, I'll do this if you know, you can have some time off to write. And so that was great. I mean, I got out of a lot of washing up.
So there are benefits to creativity.
There are benefits, definitely.
Now, your new publication, The Darlings, would you like to tell us about that? I believe you've got a little bit of news to share.
Oh, yeah. So, actually, officially today, my publisher is putting out a press release to say that The Darlings will be published in 2020. So that's great. So next year, so spring, The Darlings will be out.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it's really exciting. exciting to go through that, seeing the cover again, and doing the final edits and things. It's lovely to be at that stage, and it's taken me ages to write my second novel, and I think because the first one did so well, and I suppose I got what people call it imposter syndrome, which is, am I really a writer? My degree was in psychology, my master's was in psychology. I'm not really a writer. So I actually went back to uni and did a master's in creative writing. And what happened was I lost my writing voice, and I tried to write in a different way. I suppose I tried to write a bit like the books I was reading on the creative writing course, and so I lost your
unique voice.
Yeah, my unique voice. I certainly lost my funny, my humour, and then I submitted a manuscript to my agent, and she said, "God, where are you in this? Where's your voice gone?" And so I've had to work to get that back, really. I've had to unlearn a lot of stuff that I thought I was learning. And I've had to sort of go back to basics, really, and rediscover my voice. And part of the way I did that was I did a one-woman show at the Fringe. And
I think that's absolutely amazing. What was that experience like? Because that must be a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
So, well, it was a funny 1 hour. So that's how I got my funny back, really. I thought I need to work on something different. So I took 3 of the characters from The Darlings and 1 character from The Emergence of Judy Taylor, and put them together in a show, and scripted it and directed it, and did the whole lot, performed it, and it was terrifying, and it was brilliant, and exhilarating, and all of the things that people say. So that couple of minutes before you go on stage is terrifying. I mean, you are absolutely alone, and you know that for the next hour you have to entertain people, you have to make them laugh, and so that was quite scary. And then once I'd been on stage for 5 minutes, I thought, God, I never want this to end.
Give me a microphone.
So it was a fantastic experience. It really was. But it got me writing again, and got me back into my own voice. And then I went back to The Darlings and completed it. So I think, sometimes we restrict ourselves as writers. We say, "Oh, I'm a novelist," or I think if you're a writer, you're just a writer.
No matter what the format or the genre or whatever it may be.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, and I think as writers we're constantly writing anyway. If something happens, I know that, if anything happens to me in the day, I'm kind of formatting that as a little anecdote for when I get home or when I'm out later with friends, and so I think we do that as writers. I think we're constantly writing and editing and
telling the story.
And telling a story.
Yeah.
I think that's in most of us, because we've heard stories from when we were tiny children, and it's strange actually, because when I looked back at The Emergence of Judy Taylor with the benefit of structure and formatting that I knew nothing about. So I did another master's actually in script writing, and script writing is very much about structure. And I thought, God, I had all of that structure in place in Emergence of Judy Taylor, but I didn't know. And so I think that's why we should trust ourselves, really, because I think we've all got an inbuilt sense of how to tell a story, and I think we just don't trust ourselves enough sometimes. And I'm speaking, I suppose, as somebody who was at the sharp end of that. I lost my voice because I didn't trust myself, and so I would encourage anybody who is thinking of writing just to really trust your voice and trust that only you can write like you, and only Virginia Woolf can write like Virginia Woolf, and not try to be anybody else. And I think that's what happened. I was reading a lot of incredible stuff on the course, but those writers were not me. They were their own. They had their own voices, and I have my own voice, and I hope I never lose it again.
And that's the uniqueness of creativity, isn't it?
Yeah.
That celebration and that remembering, if you like, of yourself.
That is it. Yeah, that is it. And it's whenever I'm lucky enough to spend time with writers, I think that's always my main message, which is to develop your own unique voice. Because you'll always be a second-rate somebody else. You'll be a first-rate self. Only you can be you. So I think don't try to be anybody else, because you'll never be that person.
I'm going to have to use that as a quote, Angela. I love that. Now, speaking of spending time with creatives, you are creating a space for creatives. Would you like to tell us about the Wonder Spot in Edinburgh?
So yes, the Wonder Spot opens on the 5th of November in Stockbridge in Edinburgh. And I was saying the 5th of November, and I've literally got my fingers crossed here because our plumber has not turned up yet. And, we're running about a week behind. But anyway, we hope to open on the 5th of November. So this is a cafe. It's a meat-free cafe, so vegetarian food, vegan food, some gluten-free food. It also, we use milk from the farm with the highest animal welfare standards that were delivered to Edinburgh. So,
that's good.
Mossgill Farm, and they keep the calves with the cows, and we've got non-dairy milk as well. So first of all, it's a space to relax. So there's lots of books in it, magazines and periodicals, and it's really a space to sort of come and chill out. But it's primarily a space where creativity is celebrated. So we have emerging artists exhibiting every month.
So there's an opportunity for people to showcase their work there.
Yeah, and we'll have readings there from emerging writers. We're running a short story competition, and I'll tell you about that another time. When it's nearer the time, maybe we can do something. So yeah, it's a place that celebrates creativity. We have a back room where writers or freelancers can go and write. So there are six desks in there, fantastic Wi-Fi, but no disturbances. So there's no music in that room, but it's a beautiful room overlooking a garden.
I want to be there already, Angela.
It's a child-free room as well. So there are no distractions in there. You can go in there and work, or you can actually go in and watch a box set if you like, as long as you've got your headphones on. So, but it's a place where you can go and work. And this actually came about because of the anti-cafe movement. So
I was very fascinated to read about that. That's a very interesting concept.
Isn't it a fascinating concept? So they started off in Russia, and there are so many of them in Paris. And when we were last in Paris, we sat in a couple just to see what kind of things went on there, really. So essentially, what you do is you rent a desk or a table for €5 an hour, and you get unlimited free coffee or tea or snacks. But essentially, you go there to work. Nobody's going to move you.
Mhm.
Nobody's going to say, have you finished with that coffee, or we need the table, or...
Can you